The restaurant manager told the supervisor not to let Jack come back again. The supervisor nodded and said, "Got it, manager. I'll handle it right away." The supervisor came out looking for me but couldn't find me. After asking around, he learned I knew Lucy. By then, Lucy had already called me into the private room, so he went to the door of her room. He saw the door was shut and heard Lucy's voice coming from inside. "So what if I hit him?" "Jack, why are you blaming me? I was helping you. Or did you want him to pay off your loan? Wow, so that's who you are." I looked at her speechlessly, but still spoke calmly. "Miss Lucy, I'm not blaming you. It's just that things got a little out of hand today. When we get back, your mom might question me again." The moment I mentioned Lucy's mother, Lucy suddenly slammed the table with a loud bang. Anna frowned and said, "Lucy, calm down." Lucy sneered, stared at me and asked, "Jack, do you really listen to my mom that much? She tells you to do something and you just do it?" Seeing me act so obedient made Lucy furious. She thought to herself, "Too bad Jack wasn't reborn. He doesn't know he was schemed against by my mother in his past life, and even lost his health and ability to have children. If Jack knew, maybe he wouldn't still listen to his parents now." I said calmly, "I'm not listening to your mom. I'm just annoyed. Because I don't want your mom coming after me, I hope you'll stop causing trouble around me. Lucy, I don't care what you've done. If you can stay far away from me, that would be perfect." Lucy glared at me with red eyes and said, "You're only saying that because you're mad. I don't believe you. I used to always try to control her, telling her not to stay up late, not to drink, and not to go head-to-head with her mother. When she was sick in the hospital, I took care of her day and night. I had her in my heart. I cared about her." Lucy sat there, staring straight at me. "You're saying all this on purpose to hurt me, aren't you, Jack?" I said with no expression, "Think whatever you want, Miss Lucy. I'm still on the clock, so I'll get back to work." With that, I opened the door and walked out, only to lock eyes with the restaurant supervisor standing in the hallway. The supervisor said awkwardly, "Jack, you know Miss Lucy?" I nodded a little embarrassedly and said, "She's my classmate." The supervisor felt like we looked like more than just classmates, but he didn't ask. He only spoke with some hesitation. "Jack, today's situation got pretty serious. It's really bad for the restaurant's image. Our boss doesn't know about it yet, but he's definitely going to hold us accountable. You're an intern, so you don't have to take responsibility for this, but after this, you probably can't keep working here." The supervisor said it very gently, but I understood. I had only worked here for 2 days, and I was already fired. It was unexpected, but also made sense. This was my first part-time job, and I never thought it would end like this. I felt a little defeated, but quickly pulled myself together and apologized sincerely to the supervisor. "I'm sorry, supervisor. You were the one who hired me, but I ended up causing trouble for you." The supervisor quickly waved his hand and said, It's okay. You don't need to apologize. We all know this wasn't your fault, but there's nothing we can do. Our members all have powerful backgrounds. In the service industry, sometimes you just have to swallow the unfairness. Some service jobs even set up special hardship bonuses for employees. That shows just how much frustration service workers deal with every day. Inside the private room, the dim yellow lighting seemed to be weighed down by the heavy atmosphere. Lucy's face was cold and dark, like an iceberg about to erupt. She had just been in a fierce fight, and the area between her thumb and index finger had split open from how tightly she had clenched her fist. Bright red blood slowly seeped out, looking shocking. A bruise had also appeared at the corner of her mouth, left by a hard punch. It was slightly swollen now and looked a little scary. Seeing this, a waiter hurried over with ice and carefully handed it to her, signaling for her to ice her face and reduce the swelling. Anna and Emma stood off to the side. Their hands and necks were also covered in scratches left from the chaos earlier. But compared to Lucy, they were doing better. After all, Lucy's injuries were on her face, making them especially obvious. The two of them had no wounds on their faces. Without the scratches on their bodies, no one could tell they had just been in a brutal fight. Lucy casually flung the ice onto the table. It hit the surface with a crisp sound, standing out sharply in the quiet private room. Her face grew even darker as she said coldly, "Jack clearly saw me fight for him and get hurt like this, but he didn't even bring me medicine." Her tone was full of disappointment and bitterness. Even the ice had been brought by another waiter. I had never shown up from start to finish. Lucy felt like a huge rock was pressing on her chest, making her deeply uncomfortable. Her thoughts drifted back to her past life. Back then, I was so clingy with her. One time when she got hurt, I was so worried my eyes turned red. Tears welled up, and in the end, I couldn't hold them back. I not only rushed out to buy medicine, but when I came back, I carefully applied it for her with gentle movements, afraid of hurting her even a little. Even when she was scolded harshly by her mother, I would quietly wait by the door. When she came out, I would comfort her softly and give her warmth. Back then, I hadn't started this part-time job yet. Life was simple and pure, and my eyes and heart held only her. Lucy's heart suddenly stirred. So much had changed in this life, and everything was completely different from before. Could Jack have been reborn? Just like her? As soon as that thought appeared, she denied it herself. No, impossible. Lucy instinctively thought again. If Jack really had been reborn, with how much he hated my mother, he would never still be willing to live in my house, let alone follow her orders. Just then, Anna looked at Lucy, frowned slightly and said, "Lucy, you really were a bit too impulsive today, you know that. This restaurant belongs to the Miller family. If you cause trouble here and they go to your father, that'll be a huge mess." Anna's voice carried both worry and blame. Lucy froze, surprise flashing in her eyes as she couldn't help asking, "This restaurant belongs to the Millers?" Sophie's image immediately appeared in her mind. Which Miller family was it? Could it be the Miller family Sophie belonged to? Anna nodded. Her family had been in the restaurant chain business for generations, so she knew the restaurant companies in Haicheng very well. She leaned forward slightly and lowered her voice. The Miller family's main business is artificial intelligence and new energy. In those fields, they're extremely well known. But a few years ago, they suddenly moved into the grain and restaurant industries. I heard one of the younger family members liked this restaurant, so they invested in it. I don't know if it has anything to do with Sophie. After all, Sophie's last name is Miller too. Coincidences do happen. Emma stood to the side with a deep frown and said hesitantly, "That can't be right, can it? The Miller family has such a massive business empire with so many industries and so much wealth. Would they really let one of their kids study agriculture?" "That's Sophie. I heard she grows peanuts or something, right?" "That's way too big of a gap. In her mind, rich family kids,